In today's show, we are talking about magnesium and heart health. And in your heart, magnesium is particularly important, and doctors have been prescribing magnesium for heart disease, get this, since the 1930s. Well, a review of 7 major clinical studies showed that IV magnesium reduced the odds of death by more than half in patients suffering from a heart attack. In one particular study, they developed a protocol for giving magnesium as soon as possible after the onset of a heart attack and before any other drugs were given. If those criteria were followed, heart muscle damage was greatly reduced, and neither hypertension, which is high blood pressure, nor arrhythmia, which is an abnormal heartbeat, actually developed. And magnesium may offer these benefits because in your heart it actually helps to dilate blood vessels. It prevents heart spasm. Now, if you ever hear the word angina, that's a heart cramp, usually caused by low oxygen. But any type of cramp in the body, especially any type of muscle, and your heart is a muscle, any type of cramping can directly be related to a magnesium deficiency. Now look at this one. Dissolves blood clots. How many people are taking blood thinners today because of the risk for blood clotting? Guess what? Take magnesium every day. Now listen to me. I'm not saying drop your blood thinners and take magnesium. While you're taking the blood thinners, add magnesium. Every cell, every organ in your body has to have magnesium to function to its optimal benefit and to help you, well, stay alive and be healthy. So keep that in mind. Also, reduces injury to the heart muscle. Anytime someone has a heart attack, it can actually create damage or an injury to the heart muscle. When people have adequate levels or above adequate levels of magnesium in their body, you can greatly reduce any type of damage to the heart, just like the study that I just told you about. Well, it's been estimated that up to 80% of the population is deficient in this important mineral. And this is according to Dr. Carolyn Dean, who is the author of The Miracle of Magnesium. Well, further, there has been no lab test that will give an accurate reading of the magnesium status in your own tissues. Only 1% of magnesium in your body is distributed in your blood, making a simple sample of magnesium from a blood test often highly inaccurate. Well, that's why most doctors who rely on blood tests for magnesium and not magnesium deficiency signs and symptoms, and the realization that up to 80% of the population is completely deficient, and they will completely miss an important diagnosis. With that in mind, some early signs of magnesium deficiency, well, we got to keep an eye out for these, and this is just a few of them. I have loss of appetite. We have fatigue. We've got numbness, cramping, muscle cramping. We just like we mentioned about angina for the heart. Also, if you got cramping when you lay down to fall asleep. Some forms of seizures could be related to magnesium because 3 areas of the body need magnesium. That's your major areas are going to be bones, muscles, and your brain, and that's where the seizures happen. Also, mood changes. Some people have mood changes, personality changes. Sometimes just by getting enough magnesium, they actually start to feel better, and who knows, magnesium may actually make you happier. Also, arrhythmias, heart arrhythmias. You know, we've talked about that over here as well. So keep these things in mind, but there's a whole longer list of other deficiencies. I just don't have a board big enough to write them all. But if you suspect that you are low in magnesium, the best way to consume this mineral is usually through an organically bound magnesium, which is found in organic greens, leafy vegetables, and other excellent food sources are avocados are great, almonds. There's some beans in the peas. Those are very common foods, your sea vegetables. But let's look at the most common cause of high blood pressure. Well, a magnesium deficiency may contribute to high blood pressure, but the most common underlying cause is typically related to your body producing, get this, too much insulin. Did you know that as your insulin levels rise, it causes your blood pressure to increase? Now, research published back in 1998 in the journal Diabetes reported that nearly 2/3 of the test subjects who were insulin resistant also had high blood pressure. Now, this crucial connection between insulin resistance and hypertension is yet another example of how wide-ranging the debilitating effects of high insulin, leptin, and blood glucose levels really are. See, I highly recommend you get a fasting insulin level test done by your doctor, especially if you're struggling with high blood pressure. The level you want to strive for is about 2 or 3. If it's 5 or over 10, you have a problem and you definitely need to lower your insulin levels to lower your risk of high blood pressure and other cardiovascular problems. Fortunately, there are a few very simple techniques that will lower your insulin levels. Now, if your hypertension or your high blood pressure is a direct result of an out-of-control blood sugar level, then normalizing your blood sugar levels will also bring your blood pressure readings into the healthy range. Now, I want to give you some tips to lower your blood pressure naturally. First of all, exercise. A regular effective exercise program consisting of aerobics, sprint burst type exercises, and core and strength training can go a long way towards reducing your insulin levels and your blood pressure. Also, eat right. You need to avoid the foods that raise insulin levels. Foods that will raise your insulin, such as sugar and grains, should be avoided if you have high blood pressure. This includes even whole organic grains, as they rapidly break down to sugars. And also avoid these types of foods: breads, pasta, rice, cereal, potatoes. I know what you're thinking. Some of you are like, well, that's all I eat. Well, you need to start changing it. Well, while cutting out these insulin boosting foods, focus your diet on healthy foods that correspond to your nutritional type. Now, one food in particular that can also be helpful for reducing your blood pressure is crushed raw garlic. Now, many people swear by it, and it's something that you can easily add to your diet. Also, use stress management techniques. Look, even mild stress can raise your blood pressure, and prayer is a very useful tool for managing your emotions. Also, optimize your vitamin D3 levels. It has recently become clear that normalizing your vitamin D3 levels can have a powerful effect on normalizing your blood pressure. And you'll notice that none of the things I've mentioned in these tips include a blood pressure drug. Well, this is to your advantage, considering, now listen to this, that beta blockers, a class of drugs frequently prescribed to manage high blood pressure, now get this, now listen up, they have been found to cause type 2 diabetes by decreasing your insulin sensitivity. And that's a class of drugs called beta blockers. This is actually promoting the very problem you're trying to solve. How many of you take beta blockers and you have high blood pressure and you're also diabetic? Need to think about that for a moment. Now you need to talk to your doctor. Well, that said, although I hardly ever recommend the use of drugs, it's vital that you do go on a medication to lower your blood pressure if your blood pressure is very high. This can save your life. Otherwise, you are putting yourself at serious risk of a stroke, and the brain damage that occurs during a stroke tends to be permanent and irreversible. Well, once you begin to address the underlying causes of your high blood pressure with the tips I've given you today, and your levels begin to go down, then you can slowly wean off the medication under the guidance of your doctor.
Get ready for a whole new approach to good health. Call Natural Vitality today for your free sample pack, which includes free samples of Natural Calm, information about how magnesium is important to your health, and a free coupon to use at any natural health location that sells Natural Vitality's Natural Calm products. Call Natural Vitality today for naturally calm, better health.